So, if you saw when I was talking about the mentally ill, I mentioned one person who was a woman that stood up for people with mental illnesses that, during her time, were considered insane and were given the worst treatments or humiliations ever that people thought would cure them. Or they just didn't care. When back on that topic, a woman in the medical field was the friend and caring nurse for those who had mental health issues at the time that weren't treated very unwell and during that time in particular. So let's go on today and talk about Dorothea Dix. As the card in the title calls her a crusader, I'll call her a crusader for the mentally ill. And the information will be coming from the Daily Life section in Story of America cards. Dorothea Dix was an American advocate on behalf of the indigent mentally ill, who drew a vigorous and substantive program of lobbying state legislations in the United States Congress, created the first generation of American mental asylums, and during the Civil War was a superintendent of Army nurses. In 1841, Dorothea Dix was asked to conduct Sunday school at East Cambridge, Massachusetts jail. There, the sight of four harmless lunatics locked in the dark, airless cell, its walls glistening with frost, haunted her sleep. She became a crusader on behalf of those who were treated as criminals and kept in jails. Dix began visiting other jails and insane asylums throughout eastern Massachusetts, traveling with a notebook in hand until she compiled enough evidence to present to the state legislature. Her stirring report, called Memorial to the Legislature of Massachusetts, stunned the capital city of Boston. It contained harrowing depictions of people locked in cages and closets, prisons where inmates were housed by the lowest bidders, and wardens who often supplement their income by charging admission to those who wanted to watch or taunt the wretched inmates. At the time, Dix had already achieved professional success. She was a respected teacher, befriended by Boston's social reformers and their spiritual leader, Unitarian minister William Ellen Charing. She had several devotional works and books for children, including Conversations on Common Things, 1824, which eventually reached its 60th edition in 1869. Born on April 4th, 1802, in Hamden, Maine, she spent most of her time stitching together religious pamphlets for her parents, who traveled and preached almost constantly. At the age of 12, she went to live with her wealthy grandmother. After exposing the conditions in Massachusetts, Dix visited other New England states and discovered more horrors. She found patients housed behind double stone walls to muffle their screams, many of them shackled by the leg and the neck chains. Her reports of these conditions helped raise funds for local hospitals. She continued her travels until by 1847 she visited 300 jails and 500 poorhouses. By then, her crusade had caused a moral revolution that moved the mentally ill out of their chains and into clean hospitals. During the Civil War, Dix was placed in charge of Union nurses, where she again clashed with the bureaucracy to obtain food and medicine for the wounded. In 1881, Dix finally retired in a small room set aside for her asylum at Trenton, New Jersey, which she referred to as her first child. It was only one of more than 100 similar institutions she helped found during her long career. She died there on July 17, 1887, at the age of 85. Due to her work, Dorothea Dix became an honorable woman for paving the way in helping people with mental illness and caring for them. So here are some honors given to Dorothea Dix for her activism even after her death. Dix was elected president for life of the Army Nurses Association, a social club for the Civil War volunteer nurses. But she had little to do with the organization. She emphasized in efforts to get military positions for its members. In 1979, she was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. In 1999, a series of 6 tall marble panels with a bronze bust in each was added to the Massachusetts State House. The busts are of Dix, Florence Luscombe, Mary Kenny O'Sullivan, Josephine St. Pierre Ruffin, Sarah Parker Raymond, and Lucy Stone. As well, 2 quotations from each of those women, including Dix, are erected on their own metal panel. And the wall behind all the panels has wallpaper made of 6 government documents, repeated over and over, with each document being related to a cause of one or more of the women. A United States Navy transport ship serving in World War II was named for Dix. The USS Dorothea L. Dix, which is an AP-67 type Class C-3 class ship, a cargo ship. There's a crater on Venus named Dix after Dorothea Dix, and she is remembered on the Boston's Women's Heritage Trail. And also finally, there are numerous locations commemorating Dix, including the Dix Ward in Maitland and Simon at Smullerville, Dixmont Hospital in Pennsylvania, the Dorothea L. Dix House, and the Dorothea Dix Park located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's Dorothea Dix. I hope you liked this as I enjoyed researching about her, and that's it for today. So see you next time when I read the next history card and add more info.